the workshop for February 27th. Good to see everybody here today. First on the call meeting agenda, we have an appointment for a vacancy. That vacancy is for the fire department. Is there a motion?
Key. What was it, Christian Key? He's not with us as I guess he just started as a part-time.
Who's your motion?
Is that better? Is that better? Christian Key, he just joined our part-time here a while back, and we have a full-time vacancy. He is fully qualified, has already been through his training. Of course, we'll look for some additional training, but it'll save us the initial expense of sending somebody to the academy. So I would put that in the form of a motion to move him into our full-time position in fire department.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. The motion does carry. Did he take Wormy's place? That's what took Wormy's place. Under workshop discussion, in the workshop we have our auditor here to present the audit for the year ending June 30th, 2022. Her name is Hannah Carver. Welcome, Hannah, and I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. So I'll start off. I don't think y'all have a copy of the actual audit report in your packets, but it was a clean opinion. That's the kind of opinion you want. We were able to get all the records we needed to satisfy ourselves as to the correctness of the numbers. So that's a good sign of everything. Starting off looking at the MD&A, I think you do have a copy of that there. You ended the year, June 30, 22, with net position of $96 million. Now that does include the utility funds. The city's ending net position was, I think, $39 million. And the rest of that goes over to is within the utilities. Ending fund balance, which is probably what you guys are more familiar with. That's kind of the budgetary focus where you look at it, on a month-to-month basis. Ending fund balance was $16 million at the end of June 30, 22, and let's see, $6 million of that was unrestricted at the end of the year, meaning that you could use that for any purpose going forward. So I think that shows good financial stewardship. You guys are keeping funds available for expenses as they come up or emergencies that come up. So I think that's good news. I'll move on and kind of look at outstanding debt. That's an area that everybody kind of likes to focus on. I think you have a schedule there. The city's obligations total $6.5 million at the end of June 30. And then the utilities is $7.8 million. So that's the total debt on hand at the end of the year. Moving on, we issue a couple of other reports. We look both at the overall city's internal controls. Do they have processes in place that can prevent fraud, that can detect errors, those kinds of things. We look at that as part of our audit, and we did not have any comments on that. So that's good news. The processes that are in place and everybody's following the rules and checking the boxes they're supposed to check. So that's good news. We did have one comment related to budgeting. That was an area of non-compliance is what it's called. In the school funds, they failed to make budget amendments for some large kind of COVID funding that they received. And because they had failed to make those budget amendments, they were overspent in their budget. And so we talked with them about that. They're going to make sure every time they get one of those adjustments to their funding levels that they're going to go in and make a budget amendment. We also issue a report related to federal funding, and this requires us to go in and test compliance with very specific federal requirements on grants, and we had no findings related to that. And so that's good news, because sometimes if there are issues there, they can claw those funds back and ask for refunds and those type things, but we didn't find any issues with that. So, any questions?
Sounds all good.
Yep, it went well.
Is that it?
That's it.
So we get an A+, right?
You get an A+.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ann.
All right, thank you.
And if you need to go, feel free
Okay.
to go ahead.
Yeah, I'll really head out. Thank
We
you.
usually require you to stay for another meeting, but we'll let you go since.
I've got kids at home who want dinner, so. Thank you.
All right. On the March meeting, we will have minutes and distributions. We will also have a public hearing and the second reading for the beer ordinance. Also, the big house title ordinance that'll be coming up in March. In new business, we will have open bids for the T-Dot Railroad project to add lighting to the back of the parking lot downtown and improve the pedestrian crossing. Under ordinance number 1016, requested by Rex Ball to rezone, that has been withdrawn by his request till a later date. Number 1017 will be to amend the sewer section of the code. Jessica, you want to enlighten us on what that really means?
So the Sweetwater Utility Board Sewer Department, Jason Roy, met with state auditors last month, and they made a request that we amend our city code regarding sewer. And it was a minor adjustment that John Cleveland redrafted for us, and that's what ordinance number 1017 will amend. They required that we added an appendix at the back with a schedule, and what was the other change? Okay. So something very minor, so that was the only thing that came up in their audit with the state, which is good. So the utility board requested that we amend the city code, because of course we house the code for all of the utilities also. So this is for the sewer department, and that's what 1017 will amend. And it'll be our first reading in the March meeting.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. Ordinance number 1018 to amend the rezoning map. John, you want to review this?
Yeah, so the, what most everybody will know as the flea market property, Turner Capital Investment Group has a contract to purchase that site, and what they had requested was rezoning from C5, which is Interstate Interchange District, to M1, General Industrial District, because they're going to manufacture trailers there. But in order to do that, it had to be rezoned to industrial. And so it came before Planning Commission last week in the February meeting. The Planning Commission voted to approve that and send it on to City Council. So it's met the Planning Commission's approval. Assuming it passes on 2 readings from City Council, then it will be rezoned to General Industrial District M1 for trailer manufacturing at the flea market site.
That's where the flea market is.
Jobs, I think initial jobs, they were thinking around 50 in the first year, 100 in the second year, and then on up from there. Really good starting pay, really high starting pay. And then as far as time frames, January of 24 is when they look to be employing people. I think that pretty much covers it. They had previously owned Titan trailers in McMinn and Meigs County, so they had 3 current locations within McMinn and Meigs that they had sold the business, but still own the sites. So.
John, do you remember the exact amount that they said they would be investing in that property?
13 million.
Yeah, it's way over $13 million was the investment, and from what I recall in the conversation, that was no loans. I mean, it was just cash investment.
I thought it was over 10.
Yeah. So they seem to have a good plan and have it all mapped out. So everything look good there.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Okay. The last item on the agenda will be the capital improvement plan. It's It's a rather a lengthy plan. We'll take each one of them and we'll open the floor for questions if we have any. Jessica can pretty well explain this where we understand them. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Jessica for a review of the topics on the long-range planning and capital improvements. Jessica?
Okay, so not knowing exactly how long this workshop was gonna last, we're gonna call it an adjournment. If anybody needs to take a quick break or anything, grab a drink out of the refrigerator. There's meals over there for each of you all. It's lasagna and salad, breadsticks. Feel free to grab that. If you wanna wait till afterwards, that's fine too, but we kinda wanna make this, sometimes we do this during the day and have it as a working lunch, but we decided this year to do it in the evening, so I wanna make sure y'all had food and everything. There is some stuff we're gonna be talking about that's somewhat proprietary, so we are not gonna be posting the remainder of the workshop in the meeting, so we won't be taking any action or taking any minutes on anything from here on. So basically, we're adjourning this workshop and starting another workshop.